Today's video, we are going to be talking and giving some impressions about the Saints Row reboot. So we're going to be talking about, some of what we think and some of the things that we'd like to see and stuff like that, some impressions, basically. And I should preface this with stating that I'm not a long-time Saints Row fan. Not that I have anything against it. I just never really played them, other than like here or there kind of thing. It wasn't really like a series I was super invested in, whereas Michael and Demetrius are a little more into it.
All right, so I think, to be honest with you, so having had played the first three games, seeing the initial reveal trailer, so basically based on how the over the top action was when I saw the CG trailer, I kind of had an idea it was Saints Row, even though it's like a reboot. Like just given the DNA, the core DNA of what that trailer was going for, big explosion, giant rocket launchers, and people flying off bikes, and just all this crazy stuff going on. You can clearly tell it's Saints Row. Um, and I know, there's been like a lot of backlash because, it doesn't feel like Saints Row. There's no purple, but like again, like many times the developers have said, like this is the start of the Saints, building your empire, forming your gang, basically this is the origin story of before the Saints become, those huge well-known celebrities that we know them from the first set of games. So I feel like it's an interesting space to start from, to actually see how these guys formed and what drove them to do it. Like what's the motivation to become the Saints, and just to see the pinnacle that they reached to become the people that we know. So in basically, I think with this gameplay trailer that came out that they showed did kind of give a bit more of an insight what we could expect. Like I do like the city. I love how it looks. Like it looks really updated. Because they have a new engine now. I also like that they also said too this is the most varied and rich open and huge open world they've ever made. And the character creator is overhauled this time, has a lot more customization options than any Saints Row game. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really excited. I haven't wrote this game off because I know it's going to be great. I just really hope people give it a chance because
Yeah, kind of gotta wait
like
till we see more.
yeah, exactly. Like there's like a lot of new things. There's like a lot of new things that happen. I know people don't like leaving the comfort zone of something new, leaving the old stuff behind because the old stuff is always great. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's good to have, new things so the old thing won't get tiring. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I feel like this is a good space to start. And I'm really looking forward, to seeing more gameplay and seeing how the characters get fleshed out.
Yeah, yeah.
And Michael, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, to add on, it's just like people don't seem to really grasp the concept that this reboot is essentially like this goes further. I mean, I'm not gonna say further back since this is a reboot in its own story. This isn't you like the original where you kind of just become part of the Saints. This is like they don't exist yet when this game
Yeah.
starts.
Mhm.
Like that's why there's not purple around. But the devs have stated like as the game progresses and you build that purple becomes very noticeable throughout the world and it becomes very, more varied in different areas, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. I mean, this might not be the same cast and Johnny Gat and Shondi and Pierce and I forgot what the wrestler's name was and uh what was his name? The big Russian naked guy from Saints Row 3.
Yeah.
Regardless,
I forgot his name too. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
but like that doesn't. They said that they're not going to be in this game because this is a new, like a new story. But that doesn't mean they're not like gonna be part of it at all. I can understand Johnny Gat not being a part of the new universe because he's kind of OP, and it was weird because like if you go back and watch those old games, like he's as OP as he is, and yet he's not the boss.
Mhm.
Like that's what always got me. I was like, why? Like I understand because my character's the boss, we're the main character, but at the same time, like Johnny Gat to me has always been a main character. Like he's always been the main character.
Yeah.
So it was weird kind of being like, it's like, I feel like if this was real life and it was like a gang the way it was, like there would be like a power struggle there.
Also
You know what
too,
I'm saying?
yeah. Also too, like from a gameplay perspective, basically, from a gameplay perspective, I think like since they're going back to the more grounded nature of Saints Row 1 and 2, with a little bit of flavor of 3, it wouldn't make much sense to have some characters from the original come back because they have all the superpowers and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless they reground them to fit this kind of tone that they're going for. But I'm willing to give this new cast a try because, like I said, who's to say they don't go through one hell of a character arc, transform into, characters people really love. I think that's the beauty of having stories in video games, just to see the journey, characters go on and what they go through to, become, a different person by the end of the game than what you saw them at the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they
it's
did say too, they want these characters to be like relatable and stuff like
yes,
that.
Yeah.
They talked about how like heart is really important in this one. So I'll give them a fair shake first. Honestly, we haven't
yeah,
like I think people are kind of jumping the gun, no pun intended here. Like we haven't really seen enough to really like what
Exactly.
basically people always make their minds up before we've even seen enough, and I've always been in the camp of people to like give everything a fair shot and see, and then if it's bad, say it's bad, if it's good, say it's good, but
hmm
at least give it its fair shot. Like there are people working hard on this game and we just don't
Yeah.
know, but
yeah,
the things they're talking about, I mean, sound fine to me on
hmm
a surface level. I mean, I see things that I expect from Saints Row from my basic understanding of it, like larger than life characters, a big open world to explore, lots of cool different gangs to fight. That is something that was like very true. I remember when I played with my buddies in high school and stuff, like there's always kind of like crazy gangs and factions, and they all had their own style and flair and that kind of, and like I see a lot of that
hmm
in this gameplay stuff. Like a lot of, they list like a bunch of them, and
yeah,
it's cool to see, like you brought up, Demetrius, that they're going back to a little more like of the grounded tone while still keeping the humor, and
yes.
I think that's a good blend of both, because again, like I said, I haven't played them all or whatever, but like I mean, it's not hard. You just have to look through the years, like look at the direction it was going. Like they have like superhero, not like it wasn't like they had tie-ins with DC and Marvel, but they were doing like superhero spin-offs and like Gatto to Hell and like all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
You can fly around like just
Yeah,
because you
that.
have
Yeah.
powers and stuff. It's
Yeah.
becoming more. What's that? The Xbox Crackdown. It's becoming like
hmm
Crackdown more than this like grounded like gang story. About
Yeah.
like a gang like fighting other gangs and power
And I'm
vacuums
like,
and those kind of
like,
things. So
yeah,
cool
and
to
that's
see
the
they're
thing
going
too,
back
right?
to
Is
that.
like you bring up a good point with that. Like I think for me, 3 was like kind of like the last one for me. Because like I feel like like after like I can handle 3 because 3 was still pretty good, but after 3, I feel like they kind of got way too wacky and went way too far with a lot of the superpowers and over the
Yeah.
top. Like it just got
Yeah.
it wasn't my style
Yeah, it's
anymore.
almost
Like,
like
you know
at
what I
that
mean?
point they were just throwing like shit at the
Yeah.
wall, hoping it would stick.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
like that's the thing. I didn't play the games past 3. I looked up like on YouTube. I looked at a lot of the cutscenes so I could keep up with the story and everything like that. But I never touched it because it wasn't my type of game. It wasn't my cup of tea. But so when I found out, they're going back to, Saints Row 2 level of stuff. You know what I mean? That really piqued my
Mhm.
interest because like that's the game I really loved.
The setting looks
Um,
really cool. Just to add
yes.
quickly, I like the
hmm
whole like desert vibe they're going for. Kind of gives me
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like New Mexico kind of vibes or something
Yep.
like that.
hmm
It's cool.
Essentially, it's like Texas, Mexico esque,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like South Texas.
yeah, like like deserty type terrain. Yeah, it looks cool, honestly, but still like a
hmm
mix of like big cities and stuff you'd expect. Crazy cars, over the top
Yeah.
action. Looks like there's some set piece stuff in there. I mean,
Yeah.
like Demetrius brought up earlier, rocket launchers, crazy weaponry. I mean, that is one thing I do remember. You could just use anything and everything at your
Yeah.
disposal to just fucking kill everything that moved.
And and,
Like,
and that's and,
it's
and I
pretty
think that's
true to
another
that
that's
to me.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that's a big win for me as well. It's like the weapon customization. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like that's awesome. Like customize your own weapons and everything. Like, like also like just like I remember talking to you about this, Dale. About the leaks of Mafia 4. Being the boss. Like I think that's the great thing about this game is or this genre in general, you just being the boss, and this game specifically because you're building your own empire, man. You're building buildings in certain places, like you're running businesses under your command. Like that's freaking like honestly, the fantasy of being like a mob boss, like a gangster, like just like that concept of you running the show,
Mm.
not like you working for somebody like other games like that. Honestly that is that is a very cool concept, man. That is honestly cool because I know that's something I was excited to see, like if they did a Mafia 4, you know what I mean? Like so, like that is very cool, man. Like I honestly can't wait to see
Yeah.
like just pure raw gameplay. Like I just can't wait to see that. Like I can't wait to see like the kind of features they're gonna have on current gen like PS5 and stuff like that because that's gonna be very interesting. Like I honestly because I'm hoping they have ray tracing, in which I think they do because I feel like that game is gonna look phenomenal with global illumination and ray tracing on PS5. Like, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they have to offer for that game.
And another thing that's floating around is that like there's no edgy humor in the game, which is just completely false. Like the
Yeah,
devs have
no,
already came out and stated that like it's still there. So I don't know how the hell that started floating around. I think people just kind of jump to conclusions.
They take anything and just
but
run with it, decide what
even
it is
in
before they know.
even in the welcome to Santo fucking
Ileso.
whatever the city's called, Ileso. I don't know why I want to keep calling it Del Toro, but so in the Santo Ileso trailer, it's like very quick. It's like a 10-second clip of this dude standing out in the front of like a gas station or something like that, just having like a casual conversation talking about how he's beating this dude to death and forcing this dude's wife and kids to watch watch him as he's beating this fucking dude to death. It's like it's there. Like they literally from what they've said is that the story itself is definitely going to be a bit more contained than what obviously than what Saints Row 4 was, but even to what Saints Row 3 was, akin to more Saints Row 2, which at least apparently apparently 90% of the fucking community lied about that shit because everybody said that that's what they wanted. But now that everybody, now that the devs have came out and said that, they're like, oh,
yeah, they don't see purple from jump, so they're like, not my Saints Row. Like, yeah, it's like give it some time. Give it some time.
And it's like, no, like that dark humor is definitely still gonna fucking be there. That's literally they've stated that multiple times that it's dark and but it's still got that over the top feel to it. So it's like, you're gonna be able to do crazy, stupid shit in this world, but at the same time, this is a story that still does take itself seriously.
Yeah.
And I feel like honestly, like they were aiming for between Saints Row 2 and 3, a mix between both.
Yep.
Saints Row has never really taken itself serious. The first game did, but after that, it kind of just became its own thing and essentially just started mixing humor in with everything that they do. So I don't understand why people act like the Saints Row has always been like this super gritty fucking like story-based thing. Like, dude, you were smacking people with dicks and fucking driving around with a manure truck.
Dildos called the Penetrator.
Yeah. And then you're fucking driving around in Saints Row 2 in a fucking manure truck spraying shit all over the place. Like this game never was serious.
Yeah,
it was never hyper serious. Yeah. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand where people, like, I think people just want fucking San Andreas again. I think that's just what they want. And honestly, apparently apparently San Andreas is getting remastered anyway.
Well, the funny thing about that is, though, as somebody that fucking loves San Andreas, there's all kinds of humor in that. For fuck's sakes, the game opens up in the fucking opening. And the first thing what CJ does right after he gets back from the fucking airport is you go and get this big long fucking order, and his buddy it's like meme to hell, where he gets the fucking big long, what is it, Big Smoke gets the big fucking order, and it's like he literally lists like everything, and it's like a joke. Like that game had all kinds of humor, so I don't even know if I would say it's like people want San Andreas because it's like how fucking seriously did that take itself too,
No, seriously, yeah.
It's like I don't know what game these people think that they fucking want. Hell, you guys brought up too, like that, because of all the spin-off shit, and I'm not previously in the video, but we discussed this before, privately, that like, look how great the series was doing. The last game almost killed the fucking franchise. Like, why do you think they're doing a reboot? Like, they did all this crazy, wacky shit.
Well, even then, if you take into account at the end of Gat Out of Hell, Johnny Gat completely resets the universe. So, like,
Yeah.
in my opinion, when that happened at the end of
Yeah.
Gat Out of Hell,
Does
a
that not
reboot
imply
was
a
like,
reboot? It's the next logical
Yeah.
step. It's almost fucking heavily
that's a
implied.
no-brainer.
Dude,
Yeah.
the devs said it themselves in a recent interview. Like, they literally said, like, after what we did at the end of that, where
Where do we
do we
go
go
from
next?
there?
Like, yeah, where do you go from there? Like,
There's
you
nothing
know,
left to do. Like,
yeah,
we
yeah,
went
like,
to hell. What do you want from that story at this point? Like,
yeah,
we
like,
killed Satan. Like, there's nothing you can do
and that's
beyond
the
that.
thing, and that's the thing. Like, like a lot of people, I read a lot of comments of people saying, like, when they heard reboot, they thought it was going to be like a remake of, the first or
Yeah, I'm
second
sorry.
one,
Reboot does not imply
and that's
remake.
not.
A
Yes,
remake is a fucking remake. Like,
yeah, exactly.
comprehension, people. Reboot
Yeah.
A
implies a
reboot is a new
restart.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not even a
exactly.
soft reboot. Like, we've talked
Yeah.
about this a lot, Demetrius. Like, not even a
Mhm.
soft reboot. That means, like, hey,
Yeah.
we're keeping a lot of the stuff, but kind of
Yeah.
trying again. It's like full on reboot. That is literally
And from
fresh
scratch.
start.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like building from scratch. You know what I mean? Like that. And that's the thing, right? Is like, why? Like, honestly, like, I would be excited to see how the Saints came about. Like, how they
Yeah.
formed. That's honestly a cool concept in my eyes. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of like just going to the game where they're already established. Like, I actually want to see how they got there. Like, that's honestly pretty cool to explore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, to see these, like I said before, it's just like a sit and wait type game for people, you know what I mean? And I do feel like, what's going to happen, like I said, is I do feel like these characters are going to go on, traumatic, going to go through traumatic things in the story that are going to shape them into these hardened type characters, like, essentially. So I honestly, like, that, and I think that's the logical point, right? Is, and you're okay, basically like a superhero show, right? Like, the character, they don't become who they're meant to be, right at the start. Sometimes, it takes them going through traumatic things, for them to change as a person, whether that's becoming, better or worse, for better or worse. You know what I mean? And I feel like with these characters, people are like, oh, they're like young college or high school kids. I'm like, like, if you look at today's like adults, you know what I mean? Like, I never got like the whole concept of like that person looks too young. I mean, it like realistically, I know people from high school, who still look the exact same now, and it's been 6 years. So
Yeah.
I'm like, at this, like, at the end of the day, it matters about the characterization, and I guarantee,
Yeah, the writing and
like,
stuff. Yeah.
yes, and I guarantee, like, like by the end of the game, these guys are going to go through a transformation to where people are gonna be like, oh man, yeah, these guys, are capable of something. You know what I mean? Like, these guys,
Yeah, or at the very least, it's not going to be,
yes,
hopefully, as bad as people are making it out to
yeah,
seem,
mm-hmm. Yep. So honestly, not, it's not telling people, they have to, do that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, it's good to, like, see things, from a more clear perspective. When we actually begin to see, the dice roll on this game, because when you just look at something from a surface level based off of a 3-minute CG trailer that's not even completely representative of the game, like, it gives you a rough outline of the game, but it doesn't give you the actual, like, DNA of what the game is going to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, like, I think honestly, once they show like raw gameplay and some of this narrative of the story, I feel like that will speak for itself. So
Yeah, people just need to give it some time. Yeah.
Exactly,
We'll
dude.
see.
That's
We'll
the
see how
thing,
this
though,
all
man. These
shakes
people
out.
saw the fucking CG trailer and they think they know everything about this game. They're like, oh no, it's trash now. It's trash.
Yeah, bringing
Because
up
the
like
CG trailer that
SJW
gives
stuff and
absolutely zero
yeah.
game. Yeah, and that SJW shit, like, oh, it's a black short haired female, so that means she's SJW. That's way to really fucking,
Yeah, a
like,
bit of a reach. I don't know. Kind of weird. Kind of an
yeah.
odd jump to make. Like, it seems like
That's
people are just projecting their own shit on it and not giving it a fair crack for like what it
it's
is.
just a stupid assumption.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, this game is like out in less than 6 months, so it's like you're not gonna have to wait long to see this game again. I'm sure we'll probably see it before the end of this year again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
bet
don't.
money on it. Yeah, it's like give it a little bit of time and we'll see. Yeah, like how it shakes out. Maybe don't judge it too hard yet. Like you said, yeah, it's gonna be out within like say in the next 6 months or whatever. So.
And to be honest, I'm kind of happy they did the reveal like this, where it's only 5 months away. They didn't reveal it like a year or two in advance. You know what I mean? Like, so You know, I feel like a lot more games should do that. So like, I'm actually kind of happy because that literally means if we have like a 5 month window, 5 or 6 months window until like this comes out. Like, yeah, the marketing is on the road right now. Like it's definitely starting up like
Yeah, oh
that.
yeah,
So
we'll see more
I'm
for
not,
sure.
yeah, so I'm not worried about that.
And
You
then
know?
another thing is like the gameplay mechanics in this game and like the aspects that they're adding to this game are Saints Row to its core. Being
Mhm.
able to like different areas in the game that you can like travel to that are taken over by different gangs, and then you can there's you can set buildings or something like that, or build places, and then
Yep.
have like run like a fucking drug thing out of a fucking wrestling place. I don't know exactly. I can't go into exact detail about what it was, but essentially it was just, you know, the gang customization is still there, vehicle customization is still there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're
there's a
still
lot
able to
of
create your character.
elements
Yep.
there that were always there. Yeah.
It's literally it's the same exact Saints Row gameplay as it's
Yeah.
always been.
Mhm.
It's just with a new cast, and
Yes.
I get that rubs people the wrong way. And even when I first like found out that like none of the original cast were part of the game, I was a little bit like on like I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was a bad idea. I still kind of do think it's a bad idea. Even in a
Yeah.
reboot, you kind of want to have something there that
Yeah, you should,
resonates with
yeah. At least keep like
the old
one of the characters. Like I brought up Modern
Yeah.
Warfare, they
like
still kept
Pierce.
Price.
Yeah. They could
Yeah.
have. I mean, they could have kept Pierce. Honestly, I feel like he'd
Mhm.
probably be best him or Shandy. You know,
Yep.
but that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to let that determine my fucking overview of what this game is. For one, because we've seen a maximum of maybe 3 to 4 minutes of
Yeah,
gameplay
we've seen like
Yeah.
10 minutes
spread
total,
out.
maybe like 11, you know. Well, like, no, we're actually, no, not even, I mean like 10 minutes of stuff total. You get like a 3-4 minute CG trailer. The gameplay thing was like 20 seconds. Then the actual gameplay thing, like that we're talking about now, or mainly this Welcome to Santo Ileso is like 7.5 minutes. So, like, how much have we really seen? Nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
in the grand schemes of things. Like, it was a
Yeah.
three and a bit minute CG trailer, 20 seconds of spliced together gameplay, just to be like, here's something, and then yeah, like a 7.5 minute like little snip together like gameplay trailer kind of overview thing. Like, we've really seen nothing, just scratched the
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Honestly, that.
That's
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. At this point, yeah, I think that's probably all my thoughts on this game. I'm just looking forward to seeing more of it. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on this because honestly, like, given I know what to expect from Saints Row, I already like pretty much like pre-ordered this game because I already know what to expect from it. So basically, I know what I get myself into with this game because I that's the thing, like, I already know this game, and that's the thing, right? Is like we said this multiple times, we did this multiple times, right? Where we always said, let's wait and see on certain things because like there's many times before where we judged things too quickly and we were wrong, like
Yeah.
when the
Yep.
game or whatever came out, because like I learned my lesson on that. I don't want to be one of the people who brag online about how horrible it looks, how horrible it's going to be, and then when I play it or when they show something, I'm proven wrong and I
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
I look like a clown.
Basically, like,
I
let's
think a
wait and
perfect
see.
example would be Days Gone.
Uh huh.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Before that launch, bro,
Yes.
Demetrius, I
Mhm.
remember you used to be like, we used to get on to you because we'd be like, hey, Demetrius, you pre-ordered Days Gone yet? And you're like, fuck no. I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not pre-ordering that game.
Yeah. No. No.
You
Yeah,
ended up
we
loving that
really
game.
liked it. Yeah,
I
like,
ended
sure,
up
it had
loving
its
that
problems that
game.
are, we brought up, maybe it was a little long, whatever, but like ultimately, like, I felt the story was really well written. The characters
Mhm.
were its strength, and I mean the gameplay was
Yeah.
pretty fun, albeit a little dated. But to be fair, they hadn't made games like that. Like, Bend, the last game I played from them was when I was like fucking 14 on PSP. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think they did Uncharted Golden Abyss on Vita, but I didn't have a Vita. But you get the point. Like, the point still stands. They hadn't made games for years, so if they're a little bit behind on their game design, so be it. It wasn't terrible. Like, it was still a fun game. I like the horde
Yeah.
stuff. Not to get off topic here, but yes, that's literally a good point. Where, like, that was something people were literally being like, "Oh, this looks terrible, 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 terrible," and like it was actually pretty damn good. So
Mhm.
even if this ends up being pretty damn good and a solid foundation to start from again, it's not.
Yeah.
That's not dog shit.
You saw the reception to people finding out that PlayStation basically was like, we're not doing a sequel to that.
Mm-hmm.
People are
there's
like, "Are you fucking
more
kidding
people
me?" That
coming out,
was
dude. There was petitions and all this crap. Yeah, again, not to get too off topic here, but exactly, like, it was almost kind of shocking. Like, people love to shit on it, and then there was also people coming out in spades being like, "Yo, like, what the fuck here? Like, we wanted a sequel. You got enough. We're invested enough. Like, at least give us a sequel." So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm pretty much good. I guess if there's nothing else you want to add, Michael, we probably should wrap it up here. It's getting a little lengthy, but if
yeah,
you're
that's
good to
fine
go,
by me,
I'm good
man.
to go.
I mean,
Alright.
I could go on in general just about this kind of stuff, but yes, I think that we've said what we needed to say, and
Honestly,
I hope that people like the Volition devs do watch this because,
Yeah.
like, or at least somebody at Volition watches this because it's like, bro, like, just keep doing your thing. Like, we're
Yeah.
not,
Agreed.
you got a community there that's not like the motherfuckers that are just dislike bombing your shit because it's funny to do right now. We're waiting to see
yeah,
more from this
yeah.
game. We know what to expect from a Saints Row game, and from I mean, everything you've told us is what we've expected from a Saints Row game. So now we just got to see it in action,
Mhm.
essentially,
Yep.
and that's what we're waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we'll leave it there.
Yep.
All
Sounds good.
right, cool. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. If there's any other games you want us to discuss or anything from Gamescom that we haven't really picked up, I know we did one for Outlast Trials and now Saints Row. We were going to do one for Dying Light, I should add, but it turns out they just kind of reused a trailer that was already shown before, so that's why we didn't cover it. But if there's anything else you want to see from us discussion-based or wise, let us know in the comments. We'll be glad to check things out. We like doing this type of stuff. So yeah, okay, perfect. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys on the next one.